quilting friends, it's Carolina Moore, your favorite sewing and quilting YouTuber, and I can't believe that we're on day 11 of the Mini Quilt Advent. Tomorrow is the last official day of the Mini Quilt Advent, and then on day 13 we'll actually go over how to put these together into a mini quilt. So there is a little bonus day there. I'm letting you know ahead of time. Not a ton ahead of time. I like to keep some things a little bit surprises. So we have our project bag. I've been keeping all of my supplies in here. I imagine most of you have too. That's kind of the idea behind the project bag. Let me know if you like this format for holding the Mini Quilt Advent. I've been getting lots of questions of if I'm going to do this again next year. And I would like to. Just need to figure out, template ideas so that I give you at least 80% new stuff each year. I don't want to give you the same Advent each year because who wants that? So I'll have to think on that, but I did like the project bag. So I think I would do a different color template. Last year was blue, this year was pink. I have to come up with a color for next year. And then I think I'll change the logo on the front of the bag to match the color of the template. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. So let me know what you think about that. If you're new around here and you don't know anything about the Mini Quilt Advent, somewhere up here should appear a link that you can click and it'll take you to the intro on the Mini Quilt Advent. And if it's not showing up there, sometimes it doesn't show up on all devices. So go down into the video description and I have all kinds of links for you there. So I pulled out my fabric. Some of y'all are using the fabric bundles that I put together. Some of you are using your own fabric, and the different versions that I've seen, they're all amazing. I love everything that everyone's doing. It really makes Advent for me to know that y'all are joining in and you're enjoying this. I love your comments. I loved all the comments on was it day 9 when my cat decided to join in. She now has her own nice little warm spot that is not my lap. So she's not sitting here getting in the way of things. So that's good. All right, so we're just gonna go ahead and jump into it. Ready? Let's get started. Okay, so I have my day 11. There's just one more envelope in here. Sometimes 12 days seems too short, but also 12 days is a lot of days in the very busy holidays. And once day 12 is done here, then I'll get to take a breather and really enjoy my holidays as well. So this is our day 11. We'll go ahead and open this up. And it's a bigger template, which usually doesn't happen. I tend to do big ones and then bring them down, but this was a special shape that I wanted to include for this plus block. These plus blocks are so fun. It's another one of those blocks similar to the heart block that you can use over and over again. And since all of these blocks are the same size, they finish at 6 inches. So when you finish sewing them, they're 6.5 inches. But when you put them together in the quilt, they're 6 inches. You can combine them with 12-inch blocks, because put 4 6-inch finish blocks together and you get a 12-inch finish block. Or you can combine them all together. So how fun would it be to make a quilt that was all pluses and hearts and alternating those, right? So you can pick favorite blocks from these series and use them to make whole quilts or other projects. And that was really the idea behind this. We're working through all these blocks together. These videos will be here forever if you ever need to come back and relearn how to make this block together. Totally fine, totally perfect. That's what the video will be here for. But also you get to basically design your own quilts because you have 12 block pieces that you can put together however you want. And you have all these templates forever. So, okay, we need to take our masking off just like normal. We've got 2 layers of masking on the front and 1 layer on the back. And when I originally designed these, I had thought about taking off all the masking for you so that you got the complete template. But I think it's just a fun part of the gift opening process that you get to uncover it yourself. And you get it with no fingerprints. I have really oily fingers. I wash my hands a lot because of how oily my fingers are. And I don't want you to get your template with my fingerprints all over it again. Or all over it already. So we took our masking off. we have our template ready to go, and we need to see what else we need for this. So we're going to cut 2.5-inch squares and a 2.5 by 6.5 inch strip. So let me get my 2.5-inch square out of my bag, my project bag. Let me find it. Here it is. 2.5-inch square, and you'll know it's the right one because it's the same width as our big strip. Okay. So now we get to pick our fabrics. Oh, I don't have my iron on yet. Let me turn you on, get you going. Okay. All right, I think I want to use this for the background. The 2.5-inch squares are big enough and fun enough to get enough of this background, and I have not been using it enough. But what is that? What do I want for my plus? I think I want to use this red again. I've clearly had some favorite fabrics going through here, but when you make your block, I mean, you could do trees, like 4 trees in your 4 spots. You know what? I didn't grab last time's block to show you. What did I do last time? Look at this. Last time I did use the gingerbread. Maybe I don't want to use that this time then. All right. Sorry. Okay. So I did the gingerbread, and then I did these fun scenes. So maybe I don't want to use that. I really have not been using that gingerbread much. All right. I'm going to use my solid pink. I want some contrast. And I really picked this fabric bundle because there were a couple good darks, several good mediums, and a couple good lights. Okay, if I do these 2, it'll be another block that doesn't really have any fussy cutting, because neither of these really needs to be fussy cut. I'm okay with that. Let's keep it simple today. Okay, and then maybe I'll use gingerbread on block 12. Okay, so that was the block that I did before, and now I'm going to do different, and I want my plus to be this bright pink, and I want this to be my background, my light. So we're going to cut our pieces. We need 1 big strip from this and 2 squares. So I'm going to cut my 2 squares first from the layers. And then I can open this up to get 1 big strip. The plus block it's just really one of those really versatile blocks. And I'm glad I got to include it in the Mini Quilt Advent this year. There we go. And I'm cutting this from the back, and that doesn't matter. Obviously, I'm going to use the front to sew, but the template is completely, doesn't matter which way you flip it. It's going to be the same this way. If you turn it, it's going to be the same. If you flip it, it's going to be the same. I mean, obviously, if you turn it 90 degrees, it's not going to be the same. So if you were looking for directional fabrics for your plus, then that wouldn't work. And I wanted to mention that about this block. If you look, for this block, I actually turned my plus sideways because I wanted that whole scene. So that's totally a thing that you can do, is turn it sideways. Not a big deal. If you're using directional fabrics. I mean, I guess you could turn it sideways if you're using non-directional fabrics. It just wouldn't be as obvious that that's what you did. So this block works just as well this way as it does this way, but you want it this way because, I guess the pattern works just as well this way as it does this way, but because I use directional fabrics here. That makes sense, right? Sometimes talking to myself, I use a lot of words to make sure that I understand myself. Okay, so we're going to cut 4 of these little background blocks. Not a ton of cutting today, super simple. there's 2. And here's 4. Okay, I'm going to take my templates and put them away. That way I can find them, because if I tuck them aside, I will hide them for myself if I tuck them aside. So giving them a spot where they go, that works for me. Okay, so my iron should be hot enough for me to give these a quick press. And this one I will do the directions shown on the pattern. And this one's going to be a quick sew. So this should be a much shorter video than like our day 10 video or the day 9 video. The day 9 video got to, I think, over 20 minutes. So there's a lot going on. Okay, so we're just going to stitch these into pairs, and then we're going to take those pairs and we're going to add on the bottom unit, so we have these 2 rows of 3. We're just going to line up these edges. There we go. And then the second one. And then to keep strip piecing, I can cut this one off the back. And then it doesn't really matter, but this one did come from this side. So if you did fussy cut, then it could matter. Okay. And then this one like this. So we've sewn 4 seams, and that's actually 2/3 of our seams already on this block. So quick block for day 11. So I'm going to press, and you can press either way. In this case, I am pressing towards the light. So the instructions say press towards the dark. You can press towards the dark. You can press in. You can press out. Since there's nothing going over it, it actually doesn't matter. In this case, I'm just going to press out. My light fabric is not so light or so thin that you're really going to see any of those seams. Now I'm going to lay them, because technically they were in this order, but it doesn't matter. Like this. Double checked my pattern to make sure everything looks good, and now these each get to get stitched on. So I've done one. You can go ahead and press here, but you don't need to, since your next seam is not crossing over another seam. So I like to stop to press as infrequently as possible. And then another thing that can help is if you flip this over so that your seams are on the top and your piece without seams is on the bottom. That way you don't get, or you're less likely to get, I suppose, the flippy of the seams. And I'll show you what I mean by that. So here, I'm going to stitch, and I'm stitching towards this seam. And it's very easy for it to catch on the lip of your machine here and flip over. And because the seam's on the top, I can watch it and pay attention to it and guide it underneath there so that you don't get that flippy of the seams. So if you have a piece that doesn't have seams, it's always better to put that one on the bottom if you can. And that way you don't get the flippy seams. Cut that. And now I leave one underneath while actually these both are getting pressed in. So press in. This was such a fun quick block. And cut my extra threads. So that's it for day 11, our fun little plus block. I've done it in the 2 different versions, so you can see it very different, but still both super fun. Thanks so much for joining in, my friends, whether or not you're making the Mini Quilt Advent or whether you're just hanging out, because isn't it fun to hang out together during the holidays? Maybe you're sewing another project, or you're working on getting quilts finished for Christmas gifts, whatever you're working on. I'm glad that you're here joining in. Thanks so much for watching, my friends. Make sure you're subscribed to this channel. Leave any questions or comments down below. I love hearing from you. Just let me know what you're working on. I love knowing what you're working on. And give this video a thumbs up so that YouTube knows to share it with other folks as well. Again, thanks for being here, my friends. I will see you right here tomorrow morning. Bye for now.